We've experienced a great deal in 2023. We held our annual meeting in Orlando with record number of attendees. We had our 50th anniversary gala in DC with a whole host of people, including Hugh Hewitt and Winsome Sears. We had 15 academies across the country, saw universal education freedom and parental control arise in 8 additional states following Arizona and West Virginia, income tax cuts in 10, legislation that keeps politics out of pensions, as we heard last night, in yet another 10 states, all based on ALEC model policy and our discussions here at these meetings. We also experienced a shift of leadership in Washington, D.C. With the search for a new speaker, it took a few weeks, a few dozen ballots, until Mike Johnson arose from the parish of Bossier to take the gavel. As an ALEC alumni, he understands the importance of federalism, the true role of government, and the need for a balanced budget. This morning, he joins us via video. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to give you Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson.
Greetings. It's great to have the opportunity to address all of you at the 2023 States and Nation Policy Summit. Happy 50th anniversary. I wish I could be there in Scottsdale with you to celebrate today. Last week marked 1 month since my colleagues unanimously elected me to serve as the 56th Speaker of the House of Representatives. It's been kind of a surreal journey over the last month or so. In that period, the House has passed critical aid to Israel that is fully paid for, 3 more individual appropriations bills, and a 2-step continuing resolution to keep the government open, avoid a Christmas omnibus bill, and put House Republicans in the best possible position to fight for our conservative wins on supplemental spending decisions. It's been quite a lift. But despite the headlines openly promoting the supposed divisions in our conference here, I'm proud to report that the People's House is back open for business. Before being elected to Congress in 2016, I served in the Louisiana State Legislature, and it's a responsibility that I cherish, and I credit to my foundations as a lawmaker. In that place, Democrats and Republicans in Baton Rouge rarely agreed on policy, but we did agree on the oath we took to represent the best interests of our constituents in our state. During session, we fought like cats and dogs, but we also attended meals and events together. We knew the names of one another's wives and children. It made all the difference. We shared similar policy outcomes, but differed on the path to get there. But we treated each other with civility and respect. And that's something I think that Washington has lost sight of in recent years. State legislatures are incubators for public policy and good governance. They certainly can be. They should be. The ideas that succeed in state houses across America not only benefit our constituents, but they often benefit Washington and, of course, federal lawmakers as well. The state legislature is the closest and most responsive legislative body that exists in our system, and that means being on speed dial for every police juror, every sheriff, every emergency response coordinator, and every dog catcher in your area. But it also means that legislators know intimately the problems of their constituency. And right now, we all know that the problems we face are countless. The cost of living crisis is crushing families. Prices are up across the board, and no amount of spend from the White House can explain away the economic pain that American families are feeling daily. The national debt is approaching $34 trillion, and it's the greatest present threat to our national security. Within 3 decades, interest payments alone on the national debt will be the largest federal government program. The current trajectory is not sustainable, and we all know that. We are robbing Peter to pay Paul every day and bankrupting our children's future in the process. And that's why in the days ahead, we will announce plans for a bipartisan debt commission to study and propose solutions to begin reducing our debt and putting America back on a path to fiscal responsibility, fiscal sanity. ALEC and state legislatures across the country have been leading on this front for decades. That's the model. In fact, nearly every state in the country has some form of balanced budget amendment. That makes sense to the people. It's good stewardship. And that's because, like any family or business, legislatures understand that they can't spend more money than they take in. That's a seemingly novel concept in Washington, but we're trying to reintroduce it. Fiscal responsibility can and must be top of mind with every decision that we make. We have a duty to do that. It's one of the 7 core principles that I believe define not just American conservatism, but the secret of America's greatness itself. It's individual freedom and limited government and the rule of law, peace through strength, fiscal responsibility, free markets, and human dignity. These timeless principles have guided America since its founding, and as Speaker of the House, I intend to continue to ensure that they underscore every decision that we make. And I also encourage you to keep doing the same. I appreciate your attention today, and I want to thank once again all of you at ALEC and in state legislatures across America for leading on our principles of federalism and fiscally responsible policymaking. You are the standard bearers, and we applaud and stand by your great work. Thank you so much. Have a great conference, and God bless.
Pretty great. As Speaker Johnson said, that runaway federal government is out of control. He is not alone in this belief. In fact, President Ronald Reagan, as we've shown many times at here ALEC meetings, has said the same thing to a meeting of ALEC legislators 35 years ago. In addition to Speaker Johnson's commitment to this bipartisan, bicameral commission, his chairman of the Budget Committee, Chairman Arrington, also is going to join us by video. Please watch the next video.
Greetings to my freedom-loving friends at the American Legislative Exchange Council. I wish I could be there in person with you today in Scottsdale for the States and National Policy Summit, but I appreciate the opportunity to share a few of my thoughts with you about your important mission and about the timeless principles of limited government, free markets, and federalism that are no doubt key ingredients to America's greatness. In 1790, President James Madison said, "A public debt is a public curse." Well, today, those prescient words from the father of our Constitution could not be more relevant or more urgent, I might add. The fiscal state of the nation is bleak, and the fiscal health of our country is in rapid decline. Our deficit spending is out of control, and our national debt and the long-term unfunded liabilities of our great country are totally unsustainable. If we don't intervene soon, we will experience a sovereign debt crisis that will not only jeopardize our economy and our national security, but our way of life and America's leadership in the world. So something has to be done, and we all have to have a sense of urgency about it. One of the proposals that I know ALEC is interested in is the creation of a debt commission. And there's an interest on both sides of the aisle and in both chambers of Congress to create one. Speaker Johnson understands that a fiscal commission is not a panacea to fix all of our financial problems. However, we both believe that a fiscal commission could offer a productive, depoliticized forum for educating the public and identifying consensus solutions for addressing our ballooning deficits and that long-term unfunded liability problem. He has asked the Budget Committee, which I chair, to take the lead by examining the various debt commission proposals and then developing the parameters for what would be a bipartisan, bicameral commission, not just to consider, but to pass in the 118th Congress, and I believe it will. Another idea that your organization is supporting, and something I'm very passionate about, and I know my friend Dave Walker is, who brought this to my attention, is calling for an Article 5 convention of the states. Now, Article 5 says, as you know, that such a convention must be called if 2/3 or 34 of the states pass legislation calling to propose a new constitutional amendment. Well, in 1979, Nevada became the 34th state to pass such legislation, but still, sadly and shamefully, nothing has been done since. This means that for more than 40 years, Congress failed to fulfill their duty to authorize a constitutional convention, as requested by the states. So we've got to right this wrong. I've introduced legislation, HCON Resolution 24, to call an Article 5 convention of the states to propose a fiscal responsibility amendment to the United States Constitution. My bill calls for the constitutional convention that we need, and we should have had, to empower our state leaders to force the federal government to live within its means. Working with my friend and our fearless leader in the House, Speaker Mike Johnson, I'm going to continue to push to pass this important legislation. to stave off a sovereign debt crisis, to rein in the reckless and wasteful spending in Washington, and to return power back to the sovereign states and we the people. Again, thank you for the opportunity to share my thoughts with you. Thank you for your support for our common cause. And I'm especially grateful for my partner in crime on the Convention of the States and so many endeavors to get our fiscal house in order as a nation and to restore fiscal sanity here in our nation's capital before it's too late. Dave Walker, thanks for your great and faithful friendship over the years. God bless you all. God bless America.